DarkArmedAlliance, and today I've got another deck profile for you. This is going to be a debut deck profile. I've been playing BA since they were released with just Skarm, Seer, Griff, and Dante, and the Traveler and the Burning Abyss, but I finally got a hold of a playset of gold, which is kind of going to reveal a little bit of what I pulled in my box, is plural, block boxes. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I know a lot of people are fusing, let me tell you this, a lot of people are kind of infusing Phantom Knights and stuff like that into the deck, but personally, I know that deck is super, super fast, and I know that a lot of people are finding it competitive, and I'm sure it's great. I've played it before, but honestly, I like the standard Burning Abyss deck. I might do, if there's enough request for it, I might do a PK Fire deck. I don't know. I don't have Terror Tops and stuff like that, so I'm just going to play regular BA for now. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. So first off, I'm playing 3 copies of Skarm, because you always got to play 3 copies of Skarm. It searches, if it's into the graveyard, it searches a level 3 dark fiend monster from your deck, which could be a tour guide, or it could be another Malabranch monster. And if you don't control a spell or trap card, you can special summon this card directly from your hand. But the interesting thing is you can only activate one or the other of all the Malabranch's effects per turn. So that's something to keep in mind. And plus, something a lot of people forget about Malabranches, and usually it works in their favor, is every Malabranch, if you control a monster that does not say Burning Abyss in its name, the Malabranches are automatically destroyed. So let's say you control a Beatrice, Lady of Eternal. This automatically gets destroyed if you have this on the field and you have Beatrice. So that's something to keep in mind unless its effect gets negated. Or you have a Fiendish Rhino Warrior on your board. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. So next, sometimes you can actually use that to your advantage to normal summon and then get their effect off if you can't send them to the grave. Like for the next card. The next card I play is 3 Farfa. I've actually normal summoned this when I had a Beatrice on board just to get something off the board to get its effect off. So Farfa's effect is that if it is sent to the graveyard, you can target one card on the field, or one monster rather, and spin it or banish it for 1 turn until the end phase. So really, really good. I like playing 3 in my pure build. If I was going to play PK, I'd probably play, or PK, Burning PK, Fire PK, whatever the fuck you call it. I'd probably play 2, maybe 3, I don't know. But then I play 2 copies of Sir, because sadly Sir's at 2. I really wish it was at more than 2. His effect is that if he's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Burning Abyss monster from your graveyard, which is really, really nice because you can special summon your Dante Pilgrims from grave if they're in the grave, I believe. Don't quote me on that. You'd have to probably look up the ruling. I've done it, but I'm pretty sure you can do that. So I'll probably check the card by the end of the ruling, or by the end of the profile, and read it. Then I play 1 copy of Griff. I really wish this would come back to 2, but until this deck is not meta anymore, it won't. You can look at Exector Hornet and see that it won't. If this is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Burning Abyss monster from your deck. So the old combo was Griff, Seer, Skarm, and then you'd overlay into Dante. Like if this went to grave, you special summon Seer, then you'd send Seer to grave, special summon this back, and then normal summon the Skarm or some shit like that by shenanigans, and then you'd have a Dante. So old shenanigans, old shenanigans. Finally, then I play 1 copy of Rubik, because Rubik is the only tuner I play in the deck. And he is letting me special summon Virgil. He has no special effects, really, except he can special summon himself if you don't control a spell or trap, and he's a tuner. So usually I just special summon him out and overlay with him, or immediately make more Virgil if I need him. Then for the one-ofs, I play 1 copy of Barba, because you can never have enough burn, I guess, in Burning Abyss. If he's sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 3 Burning Abyss cards in your graveyard and banish them, and then inflict 300 points of damage to your opponent for each. 1 Kelkub, he's essentially a Giant Trunade. If you don't know what Giant Trunade does, he targets a spell trap card and that's set and spins it back to your opponent's hand for the turn, I guess. Or not for the turn, for that 1 card. Then I play 1 copy of Libic. Libic's effect is that I can, if it's sent to the graveyard, I can special summon a Dark Fiend monster from my hand. and its effects are negated, so that's pretty good. Then I can never pronounce this, so I'm probably gonna butcher this. I always call it Alice or Alusha. I don't know. I'm probably butchering it. If it's sent to the graveyard, you can target one face of monster on the field and negate its effects until the end phase. So it's essentially an effect veiler. And when you have Beatrice on board and this under it, you can essentially with Kelkub and Elise, I don't know, Alice. I always call her Alice. I don't know why. You can essentially turn her into a trap card that negates stuff. So really good. And that's all for the Malabranches. Then I play 3 copy of Fiendish Rhino Warrior. With Rhino Warrior, he negates the destruction of all Fiend monsters, which is really, really cool. All Fiend monsters you control except Fiendish Rhino Warrior cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, so none of your Fiends can be destroyed. And if he's sent to the graveyard, he's essentially a Foolish Burial. So if you mill him off Dante, you can mill another one of your Malabranch cards, or if you send him to graveyard with like Twin Twister, you can essentially get another card. It's a plus. Then finally, for all the monsters, I play 1 copy of Tour Guide because it's Tour Guide. You always got to have Tour Guide in this deck. I'm surprised she hasn't been. I know it's going to sound weird. I'm surprised she hasn't been banned. And I think that they'll probably, if they're going to hit this deck, they probably hit Dante and Tour Guide, or maybe Dante and Fiendish Rhino Warrior, if they're actually going to hit this deck, which I think they will eventually. It's been like 2 years. But for now, let's enjoy it. Then I play 1 copy of Foolish Burial for the spells. 1 Foolish because it lets me essentially get any of my BA monsters' effects off at any given time. 1 copy of Raigeki because I can swing for game if I make 3 Dantes plus normal summon any other Burning Abyss. 1 Dark Hole because I can get all their effects off if they're sent to grave. And plus, I don't really care if my stuff goes to grave, and you probably care if yours does, or your extra deck. Then I play 2 copies of Twin Twister. Yes, they are proxied. I still don't have them because I'm not willing to pay $9 a piece on these. So 2 copies of Twin Twister. If you don't have Twin Twister, feel free to play Mystical Space Typhoon. So if you want to keep it budget, because this is relatively budget, guys. Then I played 2 copies of Mass Change 2. Mass Change 2 is it's like amazing in this deck. It is so amazing. If you send any Burning Abyss to the grave, it gets its effect. You can only have the Dark Law on field because they're going to destroy themselves if you don't, unless you summon Fiendish Rhino Warrior and then start special summoning them out, and then you make Dante, and then you mill, then you get their effects, and then it's just stupid, and you lock your opponent out because it starts banishing their pendulums. It banishes if you're playing PK Fire, it starts banishing their Malabranches and their PKs. So it gets so stupid with this Mass Change. I was wanting to play it at 3, but I decided against it because I started drawing too many, but I might bump it back up to 3. If I was gonna bump it back up to 3, I'd probably drop Dark Hole. Just a suggestion. Then I play, for my 1 of traps, I play Bottomless Trap Hole, Torrential Tribute, and Vanity's Emptiness. Those 3 are pretty much all you need. I don't play Solemn Warning because I have Solemn Strike and I don't need it. Well, I don't have Solemn Strike, I'm proxying it, but you could play Solemn Warning if you wanted to, but this is all I feel like I need. I can get all their effects off with this. I can shut you down for a turn for this, at least a turn, and I can stop your Pendulum Summons once with this. So I'm happy with this. If I was going to go to a tournament, this would be the deck that I would carry. And you guys are going to say, you should play PK Fire in the tournament, but I don't like PK Fire all that much. But I can make it if you guys want me to. Just tell me below if you want me to make it. I have the stuff, except for the Terror Tops, which I can always proxy. Then I play 2 copies of Breakthrough Skill, because Breakthrough Skill is amazing. It's just amazing. Instead of playing Effect Veiler, I decided playing this, or Ghost Ogre, I decided playing this, because you can mill it with Dante and it's still viable in Grave. That's why I play it. As simple as that. Then I play, and it psychs your opponent out if you have it face down. Then I play 2 copies of Solemn Strike. You're only going to need 2. If you don't have Solemn Strike, which I know a lot of people don't because it's $60 a piece. I always do this, and I always offer you a replacement. Here it is. Tell me down below what you think my replacement is. It is a monster. You saw that. So down below, tell me what you think it is. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Effect Veiler. You can play 2 copies of Effect Veiler over your Solemn Strikes, and it does negate the effects, which a lot of players now are getting a lot of effects off, and so you play Effect Veiler. Then I play 2 copies of Fire Lake and the Burning Abyss. Of the Burning Abyss. You can send 2 face-up Burning Abyss monsters to the graveyard, so you're going to get effects off. Pop 3 cards on the field. It's really like an Icarus attack on steroids with higher cost. And keep in mind, you can banish this with Rubik. So really, really, really good card. Really good card. Usually I'll either pop all my opponent's back row if they're not playing pendulums, or when they start to pendulum summon, or I see that they're getting low on resources, I'll pop both their pendulum scales and then pop a back row or a monster, and they'll just cry because they know they've lost because they've overplayed, which happens a lot with pendulum people. Then I play 3 copies of the Traveler in the Burning Abyss. This card is like Soul Charge, almost. Target any number of Burning Abyss monsters in your graveyard that were sent there this turn and special summon them in defense position. You can only activate 1 Traveler in the Burning Abyss per turn. So it essentially is Soul Charge that lets you special summon. It's a Mass Reborn that lets you start over all your plays for the turn if you have the stuff in the extra deck to comply with it, which is super, super good. I don't understand why people would not play 3 of these ever. It just goes off. You get a bunch of mills off of Dante. You send a bunch of your Burning Abyss to grave. You activate this turn 3. Like you set it turn 1. You go turn 2. You pass turn 3. You make Dante's on turn 3. You mill on turn 3. You play this and you special summon 3 BAs. You make 2 more Dante's, mill again, and then hit a Griff or a Sir or something, or special summon 1 out, and then you go nuts with this. So it just, I don't understand why you wouldn't play this at 3. It's probably one of the best cards in the deck, just in my opinion. And then ironically enough, we play 3 copies of Horn of Heaven. I know, we're in hell, we're playing Heaven Horns. Whatever, Dante has a rape whistle. That's what I'm going to call this, Dante's rape whistle. I probably shouldn't, but I am. When a monster would be when a monster would be summoned, you contribute 1 other monster, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. So again, Horn of Heaven, really good, super good. Get your Dante's effects off, get your other cards' effects off, and get a negation of summon. So that's why I'm only playing 2 Solemn Strikes. It's because Horn of Heaven is retarded in this deck. Excuse me, stupid in this deck. I don't want to offend anybody. Then, for the extra deck guys, let's get into it. I play 3 copies of Dante because you're going to need your mills, and he's the heart and soul of the deck. Once per turn, you can mill 1 to 3 cards, and then he gains 500 attack for each card milled. If he's sent to the graveyard, you can target a BA card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. If it's another except Dante himself. No, you can hit Dante. You can bounce your other Dantes back. So you can recycle him. As long as he goes to 2, we can still manage. Then we play only 2 copies of Beatrice. I'm playing only 2 copies of Beatrice because I don't see 3 happening. She's really, really good, and I just see 2 happening. Then I play 2 copies of the Phantom Knight of Breaksword. With Breaksword, he's essentially a Scrap Dragon in this deck. You make him, you pop a card on your field, pop a card on your opponent's side of the field. And PK Fire, people will go into rank 4 plays, which I don't like for this deck. I just don't see it. Then I'm playing a surprising tech card. I'm playing Super Quantum Mecha Beast Grampulse. With this card, it's essentially a MST. It cannot attack unless it has XYZ materials, which I'm not going to attack with an 1800 attack 1 monster anyways, much in this deck. You can detach 1 XYZ from this card, then target 1 spell or trap card and destroy it. During either player's turn, if this card, and then that just goes into the super quantum effects. It doesn't matter with that, so it's an MST essentially. You can pop a scale once per turn, so really good. 1 engineer to stop stuff from being destroyed. 1 Alucard to pop set cards. You could take Alucard out if you wanted to, if you don't foresee a lot of set cards being in your format of where you're playing, and take that out and play maybe another Hope, Utopic Future. Or you could play a 3rd Beatrice if you wanted to. But I'm really loving Utopic Future because you can make it with any of your XZs in the extra deck because none of them are number monsters. But usually you'll make it with double Dante or something that's gone useless. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and neither player takes any damage from attacks involving it. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, you can take control of that monster until the end of the battle phase. If this face-up card would be destroyed by a card effect, you can detach, or if this card would be destroyed by a card effect, you can detach one XYZ from material from it instead. It takes a little bit of commitment, but it's really, really, really good because it's essentially a big eye if you attack something. So you steal stuff with it. Then I play, for my one synchro, I play one copy of Virgil. Virgil's super good. You only make him with one Rubik, so that's why you only play one. You can only control one Virgil, only have one. Once per turn, you can detach one X, or you not detach. You can discard one Burning Abyss, get their effect off. Then target one card your opponent controls and spin it back or shuffle it back to their deck. So super good. Prevents them. You get a draw, or you get a whatever it is. You will get a draw off its effect. If this card is on the field, is destroyed by battle or by a card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can draw one card. And you can only activate one effect of Virgil per turn. So essentially he replaces himself, so really good. You can spin him back, or you can special summon him back with Sarah and stuff like that. So I do usually go into him once a duel. Then I play one copy of Dante Pilgrim. He cannot be destroyed by... he cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects, and once per turn during either player's turn, I can send one Burning Abyss card from my hand to the graveyard. Draw one card. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this card you control... if this card you control is sent to the graveyard by opponent's card effect, you can send one random card from your graveyard to him. Now, the effect of him, how you actually get him out, because you don't play the fusion card Terminus, is you get Beatrice's effect off, and you get Pilgrim out. So that's how you get him. It's best you can't special summon him, except by must be fusion summoned, and cannot be special summoned by other ways, but she can negate that and get him out instantly. So you can't get him out with Sarah, so I retract that previous statement. I don't think you can, but that may be wrong. I don't know. I have to look into that. I haven't really summoned him all that much with this deck, so yeah. I usually don't go into him. By the time I go into him, if I'm going to go into him, I usually win by then. So I never got a Sir effect off and got him, but I know you can get him out with Beatrice. And finally, I play the 2 Dark Law because you just need Dark Law. And Dark Law does a lot of shit for this deck. So anyways, guys, I'm sorry it took so long to go through this, but BAs have a shit ton of effects. But I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. I'm sorry I haven't posted one in a while. Don't forget to join DarkArmedAlliance and check out the links in the description to some of the other awesome channels and stuff. But really, don't forget to join DarkArmedAlliance, a really awesome group with some awesome admins. I really appreciate you all. But without further ado, guys, this is DarkArmed Duelist. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. And I'm out.